We'll probably get started. I think, Jenna, I see you here already, and I see Elizabeth here. They're our guests today. I'm just going to have us watch a little bit of a movie, and I'll properly introduce you then. Is everybody here a big fan of NeuralViz? And if you're not, I hope today is your entry to become a NeuralViz fan. NeuralViz is, I think some people in this group, it's like we're among his fan club. I think it's a him. I don't know. He's anonymous. They're anonymous. I think it's a him. I think they've been seen in public, and they're, as far as I understand, a pretty successful writer in the real world, so to speak. But this has been their sort of art that they've been creating. So I'm going to share this. It's an 11-minute film, and I'll drop the link for people that haven't watched it. But we'll watch a little bit of it as we're getting ready. I'm curious what people think of it.
I'm just not going to sleep with one pillow. That can't be good for my neck. That's insane. Like, you might as well just be sleeping with no pillows. Does that answer your question?
I didn't ask a question.
If this is gonna work, you gotta be more engaged, Dandroid.
My name is XD310.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Dandroid. It's just cooler and easier to say. XD310 feels too much. I'm a robot. Know what I mean?
Did you happen to check the Trina levels before you stole my master's ship?
I don't know what that is. I was kind of in a hurry, what with the bounty hunter shooting at me and all.
Oh. We will most certainly be crashing then.
I've never crashed a ship, Dan. I think we'll be okay. Plus, we're gonna need this then. We've got quite the road ahead after this pit stop with the council.
So this will be a prolonged captivity?
Don't turn everything into a negative. We're a team now. We gotta have each other's backs.
My apologies for not being a more supportive prisoner.
I forgive you, and you'll be happy to know that you're in the hands of the universe's best pilot. Is that like a good alarm?
Excellent first crash, sir.
Captain's log, Remo Green. The time is now. We've successfully landed on Indula. I begin my journey to the council where I will—
What are you doing?
My captain's log.
Need a ship to be a captain.
Okay, hold on. That's it. What's your problem? You've been nothing but rude since I accidentally kidnapped you.
I do not want to be here.
Well, when we get to the nearest outpost, we can go our separate ways. How's that?
Ideal.
You know, I thought we were gonna be good friends. You've got such a cool name. Saddens me, really.
Your sensitivity is unappealing.
You would just get in my way anyway. Nothing comes before my mission.
And what mission is that?
Oh no, I'm not telling you. That information is for friends only.
Is that why the bounty hunter was chasing you?
Sorry, not saying.
You are not worried he will follow us here?
I only share my worries with pals. Are you a pal?
My curiosity has depleted.
That's what I thought.
All right, I'll pause there. I dropped the link into the group, but we're right at about 60 people, which is a good number. Really impressive work with lip sync, I think. Just kidding. But actually, I think his NeuralViz's other films are even stranger. Actually, I always thought this was tame compared to a lot of his other like weird like alien subculture worlds that he creates. But I dropped in the chat. People should see it. We also mentioned our weekly newsletter that Elizabeth and Ant and a few people are really dedicated to. We love people that read it. I'll drop our link tree in at some point if anybody hasn't followed our Substack and some of our other socials. But we're kind of at a good critical mass. Jenna, I see you. And am I about to butcher your last name? Is it Sal? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, Sal is good.
Okay. Yes. All right. I did it right. So we're going to jump right in. And Jenna, I'm going to go ahead and bring you up. Is there anybody from your team that came with you today, or was it just you today?
Just me. A lot of them are sleeping or traveling. So
no worries. I thought you said it. I'll just briefly intro you. Look, we've become really good friends at Machine Cinema with Jenna and her team at Gramina, which if you Google it enough, you know, has some relationships with things called ByteDance and the ecosystem that implies. I think a lot of people on this call maybe have come to our probably our biggest event ever, if I'm measuring our Guinness Book of what we did in Los Angeles. I think it was like 150 people that came, and I think a lot of that was sort of the buzz that the C-Dance model and SceneDream and all these great tools that are implied by Jamina are, we're sort of starting to excite people in our community. We did another amazing event in New York the week after, and I think we have other things that we're cooking up. I know we're also partnered via Chroma Awards, which we're all very proud to be a part of. You had an amazing event in LA that I sadly missed about a week or so ago. But today, I'm excited for people who haven't met you to meet you and for you to share kind of your journey with Jamina. But I think you're gonna, for people that haven't interacted with the tool, I think today's a great chance to have you walk us through it. And if I'm not mistaken, there might even be some giveaways and implied by being here today. And if those are links that you can either put in the chat or I'll make sure they get sent to everybody after the call. But I'll turn it over to you, Jenna. We're really excited to have you here.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. Thanks, everybody. Hello from New York. Hope to be out in the West Coast when the New York weather gets a little bit colder, but it's pretty nice out here in the east side as well. So yeah, like Fred said, I think I scrolled through the names and I met many of you. Thanks for hanging out. And then for the new folks that I haven't met, my name is Jenna and I'm here on behalf of Gramina, which is part of an exciting native generative AI platform coming to market really this year. So we've been, in the markets meeting a lot of local talents as well as studios to really help bring our products to your everyday lives and help inspire and create new cool work. So that's what I'm here for, to really help you understand and catch you up about what we're launching. There's updates all the time. And I have prepared a few demos and some info just in case some of the folks who couldn't make it out to previous events can learn about it here. If there's some that are duplicative, apologize in advance, but hopefully it's a good refresher. As I'm sure you know, there's so many tools always launching. It's overwhelming amount of information. So I also want to spend a little time chatting about what it means, its implication, and as Fred said, there are some cool perks at the end of my chat. So please stick around and you'll be rewarded with some access and such. So before I start a few slides, I'll just do a typical Canvas slide format in a little bit. Really what I wanted to share personally is I've been in the space for a little bit, and what I love about Gen AI specifically, not only that it reminds me of my own name, Jenna, just kidding, is that it's not just a tech story, it's a creative story. At Jamina, really, we see Gen AI as a bridge between what people imagine and what they can create, right? So that bridge is not just built with engineers. It's built with empathy, humility, and a lot of wild imaginations. And so really, what is Jamina and why are we here at this pivotal moment in transformation? It's really to explore this bridge, right? So allow me to walk you through a few slides, and I apologize if you can't hear some background noise. Of course, there's always a lawn guy happening during presentations, but just let me know if there's some volume issues. But you'll hear some really cool demos that I'd love to share in a second. Let me know if you can see the slide okay. I'll go full screen.
Yep, looks great.
1 second, go full screen here. Okay, you got it? All right, I have a bunch of slides. I'll breeze through some of them. Others, I love to pause and show you some cool videos. If I could scroll.
Yeah, I think it's either arrow keys or maybe clicking on the right side of your screen. It kind of scrolls through.
I think you might be on the last slide.
I'm on the last one.
Yeah, it says 18 of 18. Yeah.
I am on the last one. 1 second.
No worries. Afan's coming in with tech support. It's very exciting.
Thanks, Afan. All right. First slide. All right, cool. Let's try again. Great. So 3 pillars. When this is just a little UI crop of the homepage web experience. If you hit on
We can't see the screen right now.
Oh, you can't see it? Let me reshare. Bear with me. Thank you. All right.
Perfect. Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
So home screen, you got 3 main key pillars. For us right now, it's AI image, AI video, and AI avatar. So I'll talk about each of these 3. So SceneDream powers image generator, and it has different model versions from 1.0, 2.0 to 3.0. You can expect a lot of different types of visual expressions, some of which can go into the very cinematic route, as you can see here on the demos. Others, which is just as important, I think sometimes overlooked actually, is around the graphic side, motion design, posters, commercial work, right? A lot of the work that powers practical business or everyday SMB needs are really important as well. And I think we always look at the really stunning visuals as a trend, but also I really just want to emphasize there's that duality here in the image world. And for Jamina as an image generator, you can turn any ideas into art, right? Or commercial work as an extension. So I really love that there's such a variety. You can text prompt. And here we have some additional features like in-painting, upscaling, and retouching built directly into the product. So you don't have to leave the environment and continue refining within, which is really cool, I think, because again, it kind of condenses your suite, but also allows you to iterate more continuously without breaking your momentum or inspirational mode. So that's kind of the foundational image one that we've launched for a little bit. The next one, I think this is a really exciting one, is around the video generation moment we're having in the industry, right? And it's obviously happening across many tools. But for us specifically, what's really exciting about Cdance 1.0 is it really is state of the art in many ways. And again, it cuts across so many styles and multi-shot, which is something I want to tell you a little bit more about today. Prompt understanding and adherence, but also experimentation with prompts is all really inherent to the DNA of what allows Jamina to turn the inspiration into really true visual stories. So let me just play this video for you. So that's the Cdance 1.0. As you can see, because we're at 1.0, there's a lot of iterations to come. So get ready for 2026, and even in a few months, a lot will be happening if this is sort of our V1. Really excited to get this into your hands as soon as this week so that you guys can play around with it. So we can definitely talk about that at the end. Continuing on, one more thing, and I think this is the most exciting thing I wanted to tell you about today. So not saving it for last perhaps, but it's been a lot of buzz around our multi-frame feature. If you've seen it already, definitely today is an access moment that we can discuss with you, Fred, as well. So here, what's really amazing is, as you know, in the industry, a lot of video clips can only go up to 8 seconds, 10 seconds per clip generation due to capabilities. We found a way at Gramina to make multi-frame come to life that creates the experience of a seamless long take up to 54 seconds. So this is quite incredible in terms of a leap in technical capability, but also the freedom to not be cut off by such, rapid cuts. We really are looking at this from both a precision and control perspective, but also a seamless transition to tell that narrative to allow you to really paint that emotional story arc. So I can tell you more details, but I thought I'd just show you.
Yesterday, the famous gem called Gramina was stolen.
We never thought we'd be covering something.
Police have called in a detective to take on the case.
know I'm not supposed to say that's bananas. That's not. It's
So
fucking nuts.
definitely there's, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of buzz and excitement, and I love to answer some questions either at the end or afterwards, because I want to be mindful of our time. So yeah, this is just super exciting. I think hopefully inspires a lot of midweek, mid-Wednesday energy around, you know, what possibilities can happen now that you have all your, you know, rough drafts or your ideas, and now you have to hit the tools maybe slightly differently than how you've looked at it before. And so really excited to share and offer this view for you. I know whenever I see that demo, I'm always thinking how many cuts or frames, you know, does that really make, and can my eye discern? So there's a lot of really exciting building blocks involved in this. So yeah, happy to, again, talk about the access in a minute. But before we finish, I still have a few more things to show you, including a still very desirable and highly demanded AI avatar feature. This, as you can see in the top left quadrant, is allowing you to bring to life, you know, references to something you created before or vivid characters that you wanted to restyle, and gives you that control to create characters, right? That really is central to your story arc. And for us, the library of avatar capabilities is very deep, and it allows you to either combine your own as well as access some of our templates and samples across our suite. So there's a lot of capabilities underlying this, of which will be surfaced over time. So this is still just the beginning of the avatar experience and the depth that it can go, and the different types of imaginations and profiles you can create. So that's, in a nutshell, all of the products. But I think, you know, we all know that tools alone aren't enough. And really what we really want to do here, especially in this Gen Talk, is to help you guys, the creators, feel seen, feel supported. Just a quick anecdote. I recently visited Parsons School of Design and LMU's Film School. Both sets of students, you know, across both coasts, asked very similar questions or curiosities about hybrid production and collaboration, right? Because I think at the end of the day, they are wanting to understand how to express themselves. They want to experiment and make mistakes and stumble into uncharted lands. And this is great because I think a lot of people on this call is really ready. You guys are the ones who are ready to lead the charge. So how can we help you? So Jamina, for us, we started our CPP this summer, really as a global effort to help put you guys, the artists, at the center. So to do that, let me first show you a quick demo of one of our own, our New York's own, really, AI creator, King Melonius, who used Gramina to crop together his portfolio. A little abrupt ending there. Basically, our vision for the CPP is to help discover and empower creators with storytelling in this era, helping you guys with content creation and building your personal influence. Obviously, there's many CPPs out there, we know that, but I think there's something special about the Gramina CPP. Besides the typical credit access, access to beta, not to mention the current one I just showed you, which is quite special, I think, in the market. There's a lot of collaboration involved in this with global exposure. The type of exposure we're talking about, it's actually happening right now in Busan Film Festival in Korea this week. Jamina is one of the key sponsors, and we brought US AI creators with us this time to panel and be tapped into the Korea market with a lot of iconic film directors as well as the film scene there. There's a lot of incredible, I would say, Eastern and Western exchanges through Jamina that is unprecedented and very unique and foundational to really the keywords of us supporting you guys as a creative partner. We also went to Paris, as well as we'll be back in US as well next month for LA Tech Week. So hope to see some of you guys in LA as well. And so the CPP also is part of a broader community investment that Fred, you mentioned earlier. So for us, Chroma AI Awards, if you're not familiar, here's just a quick peek of what activities we're doing in the market with them.
The Chroma Awards are finally here. By November 3rd, submit your AI films, music videos, and games at chromawards.com and compete for our prize pool of over $175,000. Our mission is to unite the top creators, communities, and companies across the world. This initiative would not be possible without the support of 11 Labs, FAL, FreePick, Jamina, CapCut, and now announcing Google Cloud. Check out all of our prizes, sponsors, and tools at chromaawards.com and join our community to push the boundary of creativity together.
So as I mentioned,
The Chroma Award videos and games 75.
Oh.
The Chroma of over 175,000.
1 sec. So we at Jamina and CapCut are both sponsors for the award, and tons of prizes you guys can get access to if you apply and submit your new creative works, hopefully using Gramina. We'd love to see the works in the wild. The 2 categories that we're offering for Jamina first is the micro drama category. So if you can use our tools to make a micro drama, you can enter there. At the same time, for CapCut, just a quick shout out, you can also submit for the short form social category using the CapCut AI editing features, or you can do both. And that's all part of the Chroma series, which will be submitted as long as it's by November 3rd online. You will be entered into the consideration. So this is a really exciting activity right now in the market that we're part of. So hopefully this really weaves together all that we talked about just now, which is, you know, what trails will AI take you on? And if you really think about the features I showed you earlier, hint, hint, the multi-frame one specifically, if you scan this today, the really exciting news is that by Friday, this product will likely be fully public. Don't quote me because dates always move a little bit left or right here with product releases, but we're emerging out of the beta. And everyone on this call, if you scan now, and if you miss it, don't worry, Fred will get you afterwards. You will be able to fill out the form and be eligible to participate in getting the access this week. And then you can create for Chroma or your wonderful other projects and, you know, create onward. So yeah, really excited to share all of this with you today. Thank you so much for allowing Jamina to be a product in your imagination. And I think personally, on a closing note, I think a big part of my work is to build bridges, right, across technology, across market disruptors and dreamers that I've met so many people that are so incredible, inspiring. To meet, in order to power the creator economy, we really need these innovative solutions, both from content production, like a Gramina side, as well as distribution, like TikToks and others coming, especially to really think about what does AI mean, right? Is it just about automation, or is it about amplifying human creativity? And for me, as I even went to the Parsons or studio, I think the next chapter really isn't going to be written by tech alone. It really will be shaped by creatives and strategists and visionaries who understand what it means to pull together stories and to put them onto the right platforms, and really help drive newness and things that we've never seen before, and can't really be defined, you know, by traditional rules or track record in some ways. So I really encourage everyone, both if you're from more of a business side or the creative side, to really connect. I think the incredible energy that the AI movement has given us, and specifically the generative AI movement has given us, is the ability to reach out. So you can reach out to Fred, to Machine Cinema, to myself on LinkedIn. I love to chat, you know, virtually, or grab coffees with you in New York, or we can meet up in LA Tech Week when I come over. But it's really through the discourse and through a lot of the debates and the trials and errors that we figure out incredible things that we can make together, and also just feel like we're embodying the future in the present, which is a very surreal feeling personally. But yeah, I'm so excited to share all of this with you. And obviously it's not just me, it's a large team behind that's worked tirelessly to pull this together, from engineers to product to all the content and ops side as well. So really excited to welcome you into the Gramina global family, if you will let us in. And we are excited to see your cool work. So thank you. That's it for me.
Amazing. We got time for a couple questions. I'm just going to tell everybody, I unfortunately have a hard out today at 11, but we still have plenty of time for Elizabeth. And again, Jenna is not far. She's in our community all the time, and use the group chat today. But I know, Winston, I saw your question come up. We'll have time for a couple questions. Go ahead.
Oh, great. So I really like C Dance. It's really good. I wanted to know about, and this might be an ignorant question, the structure of ByteDance. So ByteDance owns TikTok, CapCut, and Jamina, or are y'all different companies?
Yeah, we can probably save the org talk for another time, but in general, Gramina is a sister app to CapCut, which is a sister app to TikTok. That's how you can understand the relationship.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think for what it's worth, there's probably a 2-hour conversation about the universe that is implied by ByteDance, but I think today we're really going to lean into Jamina. But go ahead, sorry, Winston.
Oh, cool. And then I was using Gramina yesterday, and I was trying to upload multi photos to combine them. Is that feature active? I wasn't able to figure it out.
Yeah, that's a good question. Definitely will take that feedback continuously. I think sometimes, depending on which model version you're on, it takes single image references, others you can take more. So you can reach out to me after, and welcome if you want to screenshot your specific UI. That way I can help you look into it and get back to you. But generally, it is an evolution of us building from single references to more complicated, and as you do more characters, it gets more complicated technology wise, and the angles and the consistency. So I think a lot of it is crawl, walk, run when it comes to building, and layering references definitely is a natural extension of the progression.
Oh, thanks.
I had a quick question. How long does that 54-second single take thing take to generate? Like, let's say I loaded it up with as many keyframes as maxed out. What's the generation time on that?
Yeah, it really varies, because also it depends on the queue. It is really hard to give a single answer, so I won't at this moment. Once we come out beta, it will be another answer, because it really just changes. But you can expect it to take slightly longer potentially than 5 seconds.
Fair enough. Noted. Larry, you had your hand up.
Yes. Hello. How's it going?
Hi.
Awesome. Have you decided on your membership price for your service?
Yeah. So if you go to Jamina today, it already has membership levels, but you don't need to apply yet if you go through that QR code we just sent, because that gets you the free membership access first. So if you like to use that, and then afterwards, there's definitely different tiers of the subscription based on different types of length of time you want to subscribe. But like any other SaaS model, it's typically based on you pay X number of dollars, you get X number of credits. That credit can be used for image generation, which costs slightly less than a video generation, etc. So it is really used at a credit level.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
We can send more information about the membership if you'd like after.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Great time for one more question, if anybody. Otherwise, I'd say we're so grateful to have you in our community, and how engaged you've been with creating opportunities for us, even showing up today. But I think it's humbling to see the pace of development across this space. But I think what you presented today feels like you're definitely creating new opportunities for storytellers. I mean, just that single take thing is bananas. Sorry, it's nuts. It's not bananas. It's nuts. But thank you so much. If anybody has more questions, please jump into the chat. And unless Jenna has to run, I'm sure she'll be able to answer in text form, but also she's around in our communities and should be able to be findable in the WhatsApp. But I will also resend for anybody that just joined late. I maybe redrop it in the chat if you can, the CPP thing. But super exciting opportunity there. I think that's a big time opportunity for creators to sort of try things that frankly aren't even happening yet, because that what you're going to drop this Friday feels very special. Thank you. I'm going to bring up, let's see if I get this pin thing to work. I'm going to bring up Elizabeth. Thank you again, Jenna. I'm excited to see you next time you're in LA. So I'm going to bring up Elizabeth. Elizabeth, if you can just make some noise, I'll see your thing pop up immediately. And then I'll just pin you.
Okay.
Sort of interesting shift today. I mean, I've met, actually related to Chroma Awards. So what Jenna was talking about, my personal role in that has been to sort of build out the university division. And what that means, and I'll say that to everybody in this call, if anybody wants to keep sharing opportunities, we're trying to reach university professors and then their students to submit into Chroma Awards and just be a part of that opportunity for them and their careers. And then ultimately there's this whole layer of us helping the winners of those student awards to get internships and opportunities. So that's something very near and dear, close to my heart, but it's been amazing for me because I've just been getting a chance to just meet the sort of the bleeding edge frontier professors of America, who I think are also bravely taking on a very live topic, something that to a lot of us in the creator space are managing personally, but students I think are on a very different journey, because in a lot of ways, I especially think about this generation of students that many of them had to live through COVID, and their high school was a different world than they saw in the movies. And then I think their college is very different now that AI is changing just even what it means to be a productive member of a workforce that they graduate into. So it's been very interesting to me to keep meeting people like Elizabeth. We had an amazing call the other day just learning about what it's been going on with you at Georgia State. So I think it's a super fun for us to shift gears and almost get a sense of, you also have some observations as an academic that I think are exciting to lean into. So I'm going to go hand it over to you, Elizabeth, a professor at Georgia State University. I think your mic needs to be unmuted.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Can y'all see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, cool. I'm going to.
If you want, you can go full frame. You can.
I will, and just I'll put it in a second. So yeah, thanks for inviting me. And yeah, I'm just going to talk. Mine is a mixture of what it feels like to teach students right now, what it feels like to be a creator like all of you, and then also a little bit of an analytical kind of side to what's going on. So let me go full screen here. It's been great meeting Fred, and I would like to thank Elizabeth Kiola and Natalie Gonzalez for introducing me to everything that you all are doing. So that presentation that we just got fits great into where I'm going, because I'm talking about dream machines, and man, that was pretty impressive what Gramina is doing. And so I'm going to try to frame sort of the 5 tensions that we're all sort of feeling. They're shifts or tensions, and how to kind of navigate that as a creator. But I'm going to set the stage a little bit beforehand. Just so you know, I didn't know I was going to do that. I'm from Georgia State University, and what's interesting is that I teach in the Creative Media Industries Institute, which is in the College of Arts and Sciences, and also in the business school, and the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute. So what I say is I teach business to creatives and creativity to business folks. So okay, this is a definite big send up to Doug Shapiro, who I've definitely follow along, but and also, so the creative industries is a massive industry, but there's a seismic disruption going on. You all are on the cutting edge of it, and the main thing is we're moving from scarcity to abundance. And the conflict is that the amount of attention, and this is a total Doug Shapiro statement, the amount of attention that we all have to look at a screen has capped. We can't really look at a screen any longer than we do already in our waking hours. So attention is capped, but content is just massively abundant, and the cost to create it is just coming to almost zero. And so what do? the main shift that he talks about is that the disruption went from distribution for the past 10 years, Netflix, YouTube, TikTok, the distribution of your content was disrupted, but the next 10 years, the disruption is going to be in the creation of the content. And I think also in the distribution as well. This is a slide from Doug Shapiro, this is where the disruption was, but it still was really costly to create content. Now that is going down to zero. There you go. So yeah, the rise of dream machines. I thought that the Gramina, what Jenna just presented, it just shows that it's really, using these tools is like being in a dream and continuing to be able to create in these fluid, lucid ways. That is not to say that it is simple, and we all know that, but it is a lot more simple than it used to be. And sometimes I wonder if just the using of the tools is the end goal, because the using of the tools is like dreaming and playing. And but we're going to talk about a final product also in this presentation. So the 5 shifts or tensions is what I'm going to talk about. And we're mid-shift and they're tensions. And I'm not saying that we're going directly from one to the other, but let's just jump into it. So these are the tensions that I want to talk about. And I think that this helps you frame what you're seeing in the industry to kind of, just organize your brain a little bit. And the one is craft to curation, where technical skills give way to taste and vision. IP, or intellectual property, to influence, where a static asset gives way to a dynamic network. Labor to leverage, which is large teams give way to small, powerful, individuals or groups of, 1 to 5. Workflow to world building, which is, going from just sort of a linear production line to persistent, reusable assets that build a universe. And from audience to ecosystem, which is where you go from your audience as a passive consumer to an active creator or participant. So craft to curation. Your taste is your new skill. So, and this is not, again, this is a tension, and this is actually meant to bring up a conversation for you all in your, today, or in your own communities, or in your own head, because we know it's not easy to make a masterpiece, even with all of these generative AI tools, but it's a lot easier. But, what's hard is curating what to use, what to leave out, what tool to use, because, the world is available to you now, so much more so than it used to be. So, curation is choosing with a purpose, having a goal in mind of what you want to say, who do you want to say it to, what is the end goal of what you're creating. So discernment, what works, what really kind of says the right thing. Taste, what expresses you. And students ask, how do I build taste? Well, you build taste by every day. What do you watch? What do you consume? What do you talk to other people about? What do you seek out? And if you listen to a lot of EDM music, you probably have better taste in EDM music than a person who doesn't. So what you're into is a great thing to be into. What do you talk about at parties? But the most important thing I say is that lean into your weird, because, I see so much derivative, generic content made by these tools, and it's not the tool's fault, because the tools can do kind of anything. So, just like when you're making a 3D asset and it's really, it looks too perfect, and you always want to kind of mess it up. Well, lean into your messed up parts. That's, you know, one of the ways to differentiate yourself and your taste. Yeah, you know, so there's AI slop. And then this is just like my mid journey. So you can see my kind of taste. This is a tooth fairy horror story I'm working on, but I'm very different than probably many of you all. So what makes you different? Okay, the next one is IP to influence. And, you know, this is kind of controversial, but, you know, a lot of people in the old world, you know, you had an idea and you wanted to make something, and then you wanted to protect it before you even got it out into the world. But there's not really time for that. And many of us don't have the money for that. And oftentimes you get known for being authentic by connecting with your, you know, but with people knowing who you are and what you've created, and you talking about it, and you being publicly available to, you know, show your work, consistently show your work, and then speak to it. You know, that doesn't mean that, you know, intellectual property is gone, but, you know, it does mean that sort of getting out and having cultural influence and being known for the person that created something is sometimes more important or first than the intellectual property. I'm not going to go into all of the, you know, how models are trained. I'm talking about what you create. Labor to leverage. This is pretty obvious, which is, you know, it used to be that, you know, you worked and your time was your money, but we're starting to see that you can reuse assets, that you can, you know, use agents, that you can find a workflow and then automate the heck out of it, depending on what your goal is. But really the vision and the direction is what's more, you know, more important. And you can figure out how to amplify what you're doing with all of these tools. Okay. Okay, sorry. That was me using labor to leverage. That's me on HeyGen. And so I can just take myself. So I play with the students with this. So I don't just do this and the students don't know, but I can take any script I want and, you know, make a video for my teaching, and it just is made. So I'm using a lot of leverage in my teaching world, but I do always let them know that it is AI and give them the written content as well. But some people like to see it visually. But yeah, so how do you do labor to leverage? You know, we're seeing this with all of the studios, the 1 to 5 person studios, Promise studios, etc. You know, you don't need physical space anymore. You know, you really don't even need a high-end NVIDIA card anymore with all the cloud compute stuff. You know, all of the tools that we're looking at are just reducing, you know, the cost of creating content. And so that's the leverage. Workflow to world building. Stop making movies and start building universes. Again, these are meant to be kind of controversial, but, you know, in the digital world, once you've made something digitally, you can reuse it and recreate it and repurpose it. And, you know, again, this gets into kind of the influence. What are you known for creating? How do you enact parts of the content that you're creating in order to build a world that can relive or be reanimated or be repurposed to, you know, like from a movie to a game, or a movie to educational content, educational content to a game, just all these, the content that you're creating can be repurposed in so many different ways. But it really takes a lot of vision and forethought to know what to do with all this stuff. I mean, there's so much experimentation and slop going on. So kind of having a strategy for how you might play with this content is super important. Oh yeah, so I think I duplicated the slides, but yeah, so there's that, just better written. Yeah, I mean, this is this is really more labor to leverage, but all the stuff that Showrunner is doing with their automated content creation, that's starting to be where we might all be going. So how can you incorporate that into the vision? I'm assuming kind of everybody here is really like their own business, their own studio, their own influencer. That's kind of how you're going to have to navigate the world, unless you're, have a corporate job where you've got an enterprise salary job that's keeping you afloat. And then audience to ecosystem. Your consumers are your new collaborators. Something that I really love about what this whole GenTalks stuff that Fred and Min and everyone has created, this is what you all are doing, which is, instead of charging a bunch of money for all the things that you're doing, you're kind of incorporating the community into this movement that you're building. And I think it's, it's really fantastic. And this is the kind of thing that each one of you all should think about as you build. And yeah, I think that's the same quote. This is just, I teach some AI filmmaking classes. This is just some images from the films. Just kind of showing that how different people's ideas are. And okay, so these slides were put together at the very last minute, but I do just want to give you some, more ideas of things that you can do. Be the curator in chief of your own operation. Be careful about what you create and what you share within reason. Just sort of amplify kind of the vision and the taste that you want to have, because you can create kind of anything. So what do you choose? What universes do you want to persist that you can kind of play out the creative content that you're kind of imagining? What sort of ecosystems or communities are you imagining? Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just going to go quickly through these last few slides and then, take questions if there's any. Differentiation is about the uniqueness, the personal connection, not the scarcity of content. Again, there's so much derivative work out there. What really speaks to who you are and what you're uniquely trying to say? You've really got to get out on the edges, because mid is really easy at this point in time. Yeah, this is something I'm super interested in. Micropayments and how to get paid, new ways of getting paid, new ways of connecting with, the fan to the artist, and, reducing friction there. Lots of opportunity in that space that is interesting. Again, this is seeing ways to get off of platforms and have a more direct-to-fan ecosystem. There's, we're looking at different ways that this is coming to the fore. There's a lot of blockchain experiments, but I still think that Google's A2P is pretty interesting. Anyway, these are looking for opportunities. None of this is, fully fleshed out now. Yeah, now tangible experiences, IRL experiences. Again, look at what the Gen Jam stuff is doing, which is the in-person workshops are, more fun to create when you're physically present. What can you imagine that would be an in-person show, just like, all of music has moved from, you make very little money on the digitized asset and you make much more money on the performance, the live performance. Yeah, how can you give personalized content to every person that watches your content, something that puts them in the story, or something that's very specific to them. There's lots of people trying in this space. Again, what a lot of us are doing, which is education is part of your content and your content strategy. And there's a lot of opportunity in that area. Yeah, this is digital avatars and virtual performances. We're still seeing this, constantly, evolving. I think there was a digital avatar that just got $1 million contract recently. So there's lots of opportunity and interesting spaces there. Yeah, this is, again, standing out, being authentic, leaning into your weird, and then augmented reality on the upswing. Gosh, we've been saying this for a long time, but maybe because we have these like power tools, maybe there is some space for this 3D content, overlaid content, with the new Meta glasses and that type of thing. So yeah, I'm going to stop sharing. Anyway.
That was awesome. No, I appreciate it. And again, a reminder, we're going to cut off at 11 today, guys, because I unfortunately heard out. But what I loved about when we spoke and what you presented in greater details, like I think, film school, I think when I went and when some of us went, was a lot of craft, and this is what it takes to become Scorsese or whoever anybody fantasizes to become. I feel it in my program, and I think what I see in what you're putting is that there's a creative entrepreneurship academy that I actually think, as much as maybe a lot of people in this call are beyond college age, I think we're also in that school that as much as we would love to think that we're in and of ourselves valuable as creators, I think for us to then turn that into a career, we have to build businesses around it. And I think what Doug Shapiro writes about, what you just presented, I think speaks to that, like, then what? Okay, so I'm creative. Now anybody's creative, or this abundance is happening. Then what? And we're probably in a phase of discovery of what that really means for everybody. But I think to be answering that for yourself is what I think you're pointing at.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just these are definitely, Doug's work is a little depressing as for the creator. The long tail stuff, you can create amazing stuff, but you're not going to get noticed. It's really, really, really hard. And so having a plan is really important. Having what's very interesting about Gramina, because I just saw Jenna show up, is that they have the creative tools and the distribution tools, and the social media all in one sister group. So that's very interesting. If we could just have micropayments where people could pay each other small amounts of money to for watching things or participating, or and then I'm talking about 5 cents, then I think that maybe that would make something. But again, we're seeing that Spotify, they are getting micropayments, but I think if that 1,000th person, most popular person on Spotify, makes like $6,000 a year in streaming. It's just not.
No, I think and I'll share it in follow up because we both referenced it. There's a really, and he made it past his paywall. Doug Shapiro did a piece a week or so ago called what if all content is marketing, which is like a startling sentence for some people. But the data that he pulls is what I think is rough. The fact that I think Taylor Swift made almost as much money on the movie about her concert tour than she did off of all of her music. Of itself, so I'm just saying, and that's someone that, operates at a different level, and we could maybe distract it, but I'm saying even those people have different economics. of what it's her concert, it's the live experiences. I'd love to think that Gen Jams will someday be as valuable as a Taylor Swift concert. I'll just pretend like those two things belong in the same category. But like, I think, and it might be a crass reference, but I think OnlyFans is an example of how that industry has sort of created a transactional, in-person live experience. So I just think this is a trend that's worth noting. I mean, like I see the CEO of OnlyFans showing up at Bloomberg conferences, so I don't think I'm the only person that's seeing those economic trends across other forms of media. No, I think this is vital stuff. And if anybody's got a couple more questions, again, I unfortunately have to go in 2 minutes, but appreciate you jumping in and getting that educational industry piece of this too. John saying Snoop made $50,000 from Spotify for 1 billion streams. Yeah, I don't think he got rich off of the Spotify money either.
Yeah, people are welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have more, conversations that you want to have. I just think this is a great group of people, and I love, maybe we all can figure this out, because it's going to have to be a movement. And but I do think that you're going to have to go beyond being creative, and it's a complicated world. And yeah, let's just keep building it together. And I think these conversations are great for getting everybody on the same page and leveling up.
Yeah, we're talking about it together. I mean, look, big thanks to you. And you mentioned Elizabeth and Natalia in Atlanta. You've also been a really present part of what's growing in that city, for all of us. And also thanks to Jenna. Again, I think what you guys are introducing on the product side is contributing to these capabilities for creators to start thinking differently about themselves. Thanks everybody, as always, for showing up. I'm sorry that today's a little bit squeezed, but I don't know, maybe people like a quick hour block like we did today. Thank you for everybody always participating. I'll always open doors if people have ideas on guests or themes, DM me. But we'll see you in the group chat. We'll hopefully see some of you in person. We have a couple events this week in LA. For anybody we're having breakfast with some folks in Atwater Village. We have a hike and jam coming up during Tech Week. We have a couple Tech Week events. So just keep an eye on I'll drop our link tree and our follow-up to everybody that came today too. But please follow our calendars, our Substacks, our socials, all those fun things. But thanks to Elizabeth, thanks to Jenna. We really appreciate everybody sharing your ideas with us. Have a great rest of your week, everybody.
Bye-bye.